Grade 10, these are the answers for your revision sheet for your fourth quarter revision sheet for biology. Number 1. The term for a cross that involves just one trait, such as pot shape, is called monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross means that we are dealing with only one trait, one thing that we're crossing in order to test the inheritance of the character. Number 2. Which of the following statement is true of homozygous alleles? Homozygous alleles are the alleles that are coming from each parent, and they are homozygous when we are talking about similar alleles. So they are identical forms of the same gene. So for example, you are inheriting the same gene from both parents. These genes, they separate the homozygous allele, and each one goes through one of the sex cells. So the homozygous alleles, they are identical forms of the same gene. Which of the following is the result of a study of the gene linkage? The relative distances between genes can be calculated. So the scientists discovered that during meiosis, part of the chromosomes, they cross over another chromosome, and all of this is done to increase the possibility of having more and more genes. So if there is a long distance between one gene and the other, these genes, they are not going to be linked when they cross over. So what is the result of a study of a gene linkage, which means that we're studying how two genes are linked together, is that the relative distances between genes can be calculated. So if they discover, for example, that the gene for eye color is at the top and at the tip, and the gene for hair color is far away, this means that these genes can be separated during crossover. Suppose a gene that codes for flower color is linked with a gene that codes for leaf shape. See, we are talking about linking two genes that are linked. Which statement is true for this pair of genes? They are close together on the same chromosome. So when the scientists studied the gene linkage, they discovered that the genes that are close together on the same chromosome, they are probably going to be inherited together even after the crossing over. Which of the following statements is true of homologous chromosomes? Remember, the homologous chromosome is a chromosome coming from each of the parents, and they are going to be arranged aside of each other during meiosis. So the homologous chromosomes, they contain the same genes. So this chromosome containing, for example, the hair color, and this is containing the hair color, and you get one of each from each parent. Which phrase best describes the process of meiosis? It produces haploid gametes. We said that there are two types of cells. Cells that contain full number of chromosomes, which are the cells present all over your body. So if I take a sample of a nail, of a hair, of the inside of your mouth, the mucosa, in all of these cases I'm going to get the cells that contain 46 chromosomes. The only case I'm going to get cells with 23 chromosomes, which are half the number of chromosomes, is when I take a cell from the ovaries in case of females, or from the testes in case of males. So meiosis only happens within the sex cells, and it produces haploid gametes. Haploid means that they contain half the number of chromosomes. Which phrase best describes the process of crossing over? The pair of homologous chromosomes exchange segments. We said that pairs of homologous chromosomes, they are close together during the process of meiosis, and then part of the tip of each chromosome, they cross over, they go to the other chromosome. And if there are genes that are close together on this part that is moving, they are going to be linked together, and they are going to be moving together. And all of this is to increase the genetic diversity in case of meiosis. Which of the following events is an important factor in increasing variety among sexually producing organisms? Remember that increasing the variety means that you're not a copy-paste picture of your father, means that you're not inheriting diseases or problems that come from your family. So which of the following events is an important factor in increasing variety among sexually reproducing organisms is the crossing over. Number 9. Crossing over is an important factor in increasing, again, C, the genetic diversity in making new allele combinations. Number 10. What happens to sister chromatides in meiosis II? In meiosis II, the chromatides, they are going to separate. They are divided. Which of the following conclusions was a result of Mendel's observations? When Mendel made all of these experiments, he got to this conclusion. The organisms inherit 2 copies of each gene, one from each parent. Which of the following cell types is diploid? Okay, so we said that all of your cells are diploid, which means that they contain a full set of chromosomes except the sex cells, which are haploid. So ovum is a sex cell is a sex cell, gamete is a sex cell. The only one here that is diploid is the somatic cell. 13. Which of the following is an example of a biological trait? Okay, personality, it's not biological. Hairstyle, you can change it all the time, it's not biological. And accent is not biological. So the only thing here that is a trait that you can inherit is the eye color. 14. Which of the following cell types could have 22 autosomes and a Y chromosome? The Y chromosomes are only present in sperms. The ova contain X chromosomes only. So 14A. What is the probability that the offspring of a cross between a homozygous recessive parent and heterozygous parent will be homozygous recessive? So in this case, it is going to be half. And in order to do this, you need to do the Punnett square and put all the parents on one side, each parent on each side, and then start doing the cross. Number 16. All of the genetic material that makes up an organism is its genome. Of course, a few years ago, the scientists discovered the genome, and now they can read the human genome from A to Z, and they can detect the position of each gene, the chromosomes that are determining a certain gene, and how to treat a certain gene if it's carrying a certain disease. Gametogenesis is the term for, of course, the production of gamete. Number 18. Which of the following best describes the genetic material a person receives from his or her father? Again, father, which means a male. In case of males, you get 22 autosomes, which are the chromosomes that are determining all of your characters, and 2 sex chromosomes, X and Y chromosomes. Okay, so X and Y are only present in males. In females, we only have X chromosomes. So the answer is 22 autosomes and X or Y chromosome. If we look at the other answers, 22 pairs, out of question, because we're talking about one person. You cannot get a pair from the same person. 22 haploid cells. They are not 22 haploid cells. They are 22 autosomes. You don't get cells, you get chromosomes. 23 diploid cells. Again, we don't have diploid in case of genetic material, because you have to have half the number, so that when it's crossed with the other partner, the mother, you get the full number of chromosomes. So the right answer is 22 autosomes and an X or Y chromosomes. If a pea plant were homozygous recessive for height, homozygous recessive, so the height is going to be presented by 2 small letters. Recessive alleles may not be expressed because, of course, if, for example, a certain allele is recessive and it is crossed with a dominant allele, it is going to be totally masked. This is the first part of the revision sheet. We're going to do the second part next session.